This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
Doesn't it ever seem that things are going around in circles? They say that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Remember Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941? Would it surprise you to know that FDR, the President of the United States, was prepared to lose 6 cruisers in an attack by the Japanese, provoked by cutting off their gasoline at Manila? Would it surprise you that Prescott Bush's good friend sold the gasoline to the Japanese that carried out the Pearl Harbor raid? September 11, 2001, and we are attacked by the same guys we've been funding in Afghanistan since Reagan Bush Sr. Not only that, but the son of George W. Bush Sr. has had personal dealings with the Bin Laden family since 1977. Things indeed do seem to be going around and around in circles, and you may well ask, what the fuck is going on? This is the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove is just on the outskirts of San Francisco, California. There the elite meet and determine policy while indulging in sex orgies. They fly in $1,000 an hour gay prostitutes from the porn industry on their private jets. The Bohemian Grove and all-male membership includes many of the most powerful men around the world. Established in the late 1800s, it has included many of the US presidents until today. Its symbol is the owl. What is this collective unconsciousness that we seem to all suffer from? The need to grovel before stone blocks and statues, whether they're buildings or icons. Why does this lay in our deepest psyche? In the book 1984 by George Orwell, the author uses the symbol of vast stone pyramids located in the capitals of each of the superstates. In these vast stone pyramids, the various ministries of the state are ensconced. Mini Pax, Mini True, Mini Love, and Mini Plenty. The pyramidal structure represents the hierarchy of our civilization. The low, the middle, and the high. At the bottom are the slaves. That's where you and me are. There are people who are below us, and we keep our foot on their heads just as firmly as the leaders keep theirs on ours. But we are all cogs in a machine, a system. And if we break down, the machine breaks down. If we refuse to work, it cannot work. What can we say about a system that leaves wine lakes and butter mountains while thousands starve across the world? What can we say about a system that actively oppresses and also says that it's a part of its system to exploit its workers? We say, not much. Luddites, during the Industrial Revolution, took off their wooden clogs and threw them into the gears of the machines that had deprived them of their agrarian lifestyles. A wooden clog is known as a sabot, and this is where we get the term sabotage from. We say, throw a spanner into the works. In the Central American civilizations, they had big stone temples, and they took their prisoners up to the top, mopped off their heads, and tossed their bodies down the front stairwell. End over end they'd fall to the bottom. Looks like we've got the same thing today. Funny how things don't change. Tossing people out of windows, people jumping of their own accord. 9/11. It's all laid out there for us. And why do we sacrifice? For Iraq, for Afghanistan, because we need a huge blood sacrifice before we can start there. And what would you call Afghanistan if not human sacrifice? Blood sacrifice to keep capitalism going. Just as the ancients thought they needed blood to keep the sun, the moon, the stars, and the ground fertile, so too our modern day masters feel as though we need blood sacrifice to keep their eternal wars going, their war machines chugging, their fuel flowing. Just like the Soviets needed, we need direct infusions of fresh blood into our economies. Bombs being turned over. An unused weapon is a useless weapon. Mutually assured destruction. Be the first on your block to develop the latest bioweapon to decimate your enemy's ethnicity. Orwell called it forever war. The only way to keep consumer products out of the hands of the lower classes in a machine society is to sink them to the bottom of the depths of the sea, to shoot them out of the sky, to burn them up on land. This is the precepts of forever war. Because our cities' pyramids demand more blood, ever more blood for capitalism. The multinationals need more bodies, and they're prepared to run over them with their tank treads. What will you sacrifice on our stone altars of capitalism? Will it be your mobile phone? Did you know that Motorola makes timers for landmines that blow the legs off little kids? And now they're out to make more profits now that every other major country has refused to sign the landmine accords. IBM spies on the social networking pages of depressed people, then cuts their health care. Meanwhile, BMG, who used slave Jewish labour during the Second World War, sues black women for sharing files online. Who are the real pirates? And consider that a conspiracy is just a gathering of pirates. Did you know that Yale's secret Skull and Bones fraternity, which both Bushes and John Kerry have been members of, was originally started by gun-running and alcohol-running pirates? Many famous members of the American Oligarch have been members of Skull and Bones. It seems that the more that things go round, the more they stay the same. George Orwell called this reality control. It is the ability of exercising doublethink to control your surroundings. Because let's face it, not many people watch much TV or read a book. They're usually stuck at their jobs, and that's about it. Then they pass out pissed on the weekend. Do they have much of an idea of world events or what's going on? Not much. Meanwhile, the oligarch uses us like a condom and then throws us away into the gutter. Democracy is a voting paid army, but it doesn't look like America can pay it any longer, and it doesn't look like anyone votes there any longer either. We're just controlled by the same fat cats at the top of the chain, and God knows what they're pulling behind our backs. Nevertheless, consider this. Since 1979, we've had Reagan, his Vice President, George H.W. Bush, Rambo, Afghanistan, Clinton, George W. Bush, Clinton, and Afghanistan again. Still got Rambo. Ever seem like we're going round in circles?